God is dead. 3 words, simple, stark, devastating. But they're not just philosophical poetry or academic provocation. They are a mirror held up to you, to me, to modern life. They explain the anxiety behind your eyes, the gnawing restlessness, the sense that something isn't quite right. Because these 3 words don't declare the death of a divine being. They declare the collapse of meaning. You have everything you were told you needed. A roof over your head, a job, maybe even some friends, a partner, plans for the future. But deep down, beneath the noise, the scrolling, the smiling pictures, you feel it. The void. It's not depression, exactly. Not quite sadness. It's more like hollowness. Like you're watching your life play out from behind a screen, a few seconds delayed. You laugh, but you're not laughing. You speak, but you're not heard, even by yourself. At night, the silence screams. What's the point of all this? Nietzsche saw this coming. He watched as the scaffolding of Western civilization, religion, morality, metaphysics, began to crumble. And he knew, when the old gods fall, something else takes their place. Distraction, addiction, empty routine, the illusion of progress without direction. You can't escape it with another Netflix show, another night out, another raise, because none of it fills the void. And Nietzsche's warning echoes louder than ever. For centuries, humanity found comfort in absolutes. There was God, there was truth, there was good and evil, right and wrong, heaven and hell. Your grandparents, or their grandparents, lived by stories that explained everything. Why we're here. What's right? What comes after? But then the Enlightenment came. Science, revolutions, 2 world wars, mass communication. And with every breakthrough, the old myths fractured. Darwin showed we came from animals. Marx called religion the opium of the people. Freud said God was a projection of the father figure. And Nietzsche? He stood in the rubble and said, God is dead, and we have killed him. But he didn't mean we physically killed a deity. He meant we stopped believing in the need for one. We unmoored ourselves from the cosmic compass and didn't replace it. There was no more map, no more anchor, no more why. And now we drift. You were told, do well in school, get into a good university, land the job, meet someone, buy things, be happy. You did all that, or you're trying to. And still, a quiet voice says, is this all there is? This is nihilism, not just despair, but a deep spiritual crisis. The belief that nothing matters. No truth, no meaning, no purpose, except what we pretend to feel for a few hours, before the dread creeps back in. Nietzsche identified 2 kinds of nihilism. Passive nihilism, giving up, floating through life like a ghost, consuming, distracting, hoping something, anything, will numb the ache. Active nihilism, the harder path, burning down the illusions, facing the emptiness, not to surrender, but to rebuild. Because sometimes, the most honest thing you can do is admit, the life I'm living isn't mine. It was programmed into me. And if nothing external can give you meaning, you must create it yourself. Most people fear suffering. They avoid it like the plague. Our entire culture is built around escape, more comfort, more dopamine, more distraction. But Nietzsche didn't flinch. He walked straight into the fire. To live is to suffer. To survive is to find meaning in the suffering. He believed pain wasn't a mistake. It was the key. The furnace that burns away everything false. Your masks, your inherited beliefs, your shallow dreams. The breakdown? It's not the end. It's the beginning. Because only when everything collapses, only when you're stripped bare, do you meet the self beneath it all. Your pain doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're waking up. Now that God is dead, you are the author. There is no divine script, no external judge, no guaranteed path. That's terrifying. And freeing. Because it means you get to choose. Not just once, but every day. Nietzsche didn't say, do whatever you want. He said, become who you are. That's not easy. It means looking into the mirror and asking, who am I? Really? What do I actually believe? What am I willing to suffer for? You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need enlightenment. You need to start small. Tell the truth when it's hard. Create something honest. Cut out one lie you've been living. Sit with silence. Embrace solitude. Not as escape, but as the place where your real self speaks. Nietzsche didn't end with despair. He ended with possibility. His answer to the death of God was the Übermensch, the overman. Not a superhero, not someone above others, but someone beyond the old lies. A human being who faces chaos and says, I will not be broken, I will build. They don't wait for salvation. They don't follow blindly. They create. They transform. They affirm life, even when it hurts. The Übermensch is the one who turns pain into poetry, emptiness into art, loss into wisdom, chaos into meaning. They are not perfect. They're just real, authentic, awake, alive. And maybe, just maybe, that person is already inside you. So, God is dead. And that is the root of your suffering. But it's also the root of your freedom. Because no one is coming to save you. No book, no guru, no algorithm. That's the bad news. The good news? You don't need saving. You need awakening. You are not broken for feeling lost. You are not weak for questioning everything. You are awake, in a world that prefers sleep. So now comes the real question. What will you create from the ashes? He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. If this video stirred something inside you, don't let that feeling fade. Subscribe for more philosophy that cuts deeper than surface solutions. Comment below. What false meaning are you ready to destroy? And remember, you don't have to follow the old gods, but you do have to face yourself. We'll see you in the next one.